All right, guys, welcome back. Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We talked to you guys earlier about Alexander Madison, his injury. He is now out for the season after he underwent season-ending neck surgery. So, obviously, the Dolphins are going to be looking to add some running back help, and it came in the way of Aaron Shampklin. I don't know who he is either. I have never heard of this name before in my life. 17 total yards in one season, very limited work with Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 yards on 4 carries. Went to the University of Harvard, where he did have a season with over 1,000 yards on the ground. Played in 2017, 2018, and then played again in 2021. This time with a season-ending injury in 2019, and then didn't play at Harvard in 2020 due to the COVID season. What this is not is a direct replacement for Alexander Madison. This is somebody who's going to probably, if he makes the roster at all, which I highly find unlikely for that to be the case. If anything, probably find some work on special teams. As he was just somebody the Dolphins worked out today. And when a team signs a player in preseason, and we've seen this over the years with Dolphins players, it does not mean they're joining the team. This does not mean they're going to make the final 53-man roster. I mean, we've seen with Willie Snead recently. We saw with Mohamed Sanu, guys that are brought in training camp just to get a look at them. Now, those two options I just said before with Willie Snead and Mohamed Sanu were guys brought in looking to compete in camp, and they were veterans that we had real tape on, that we've seen them with success at certain points in their careers. And at the time of them being brought in, they were certainly on the downslope with their careers, but Dolphins brought them in, saw if they had any juice left to squeeze. Evidently, they did not, so they were eventually cut. Now, Aaron Shampklin gets brought in on the other end of that spectrum, where really nobody knows who he is. I don't know who he is. You look at every single mention of him on Twitter, nobody has any idea who he is. Every single Dolphins fan page, nobody has any idea who that is. I don't. You don't. Let's not pretend like this guy is going to be somebody who's brought in to be a real difference maker for this team. If everything goes right, maybe he'll see a snap for the Dolphins. And that's basically what happened with the Steelers. He saw a few handful of snaps with his time with the Steelers. But like I previously mentioned, what this is not is a direct replacement for Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison, like I mentioned in the video earlier today, check that out if you haven't. But Alexander Madison was somebody who had legit opportunity to end up as the second running back on the team. Now, the snaps went yesterday. Devon Achane was on the field for almost every single play that Tua played, with Jalen Wright sprinkled in there a little bit. And then we went to Zach Wilson. It was a mixture between Jalen Wright and Alexander Madison, of course. And then Ollie Gordon pretty much got the entire end of the game. Now, I really liked what I saw from Ollie Gordon. I think he's somebody that after that first preseason game is certainly a winner in my book. And I think there's genuinely going to be a wide open 3-man competition for the RB2 spot. Jalen Wright currently is the favorite. I don't think he's going to be the favorite for long, but as for now, he is the number 2 guy. But Alexander Madison had a legitimate case for, if he played well enough, if he got in the end zone in preseason, if he cemented himself a goal line role or a short distance role, he could very well end up as the guy who gets the second most amount of touches in this running back room behind Devon Achane, of course. Now, that's completely out of the picture. He'll probably never put on a Dolphins uniform ever again on his 1-year contract, so he'll probably be out the door after the season comes to a close. So now we are left with the duo of course, Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon. 2 younger guys, not a whole lot of experience, certain flaws in their game. There's talent there to be had, but certainly flaws. And those guys are still likely going to compete for the running back 2 spot, and the other one probably gets the running back 3 spot. I do not expect Aaron Shampklin to make the final roster once that comes around. I do fully expect the Dolphins to be signing another running back with the interest in Jamal Williams earlier today. I think that is quite evident. You don't just go from Jamal Williams, who is almost a decade veteran in this league. You don't just go from that to signing a guy who has played a handful of snaps in his NFL career. He'll come in, he'll get the opportunity to compete. He'll probably, if anything at all, find himself a role on special teams. But what this is not, do not get this twisted. What this is not is a replacement for Alexander Madison. I expect the Dolphins to be making at least one more signing at the running back position. There are options out there. I was thinking about making a video talking about those options, and I still might do so because, again, this is not somebody who's going to come in and compete for the second spot on this team, which Alexander Madison very much had every chance of being the number 2 running back on this team. Aaron Shampklin 100% will not be the running back 2 on this team. It'll still likely, no matter who we sign, it'll still likely end up being between Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon, as they're younger on their rookie contracts. Dolphins have more reason to try to get everything out of them than a veteran off the street. So I do expect this to be a 2-horse race for the rest of the preseason between Wright and Ollie Gordon. I think Wright will ultimately win out, and Ollie Gordon, I think, will do his best to just chip away and get some more and more reps as the season goes on. He certainly will be getting meaningful reps with Alexander Madison's injury, but who will not be getting meaningful reps, meaningful touches is Aaron Shampklin. I do not expect him to make the final roster. I do not expect him to compete for the running back 2 spot. Let me know if you've actually ever heard of him. Maybe there's some people up in the New England area that, maybe you're into some Harvard football. Let me know if you know anything about this guy, or I doubt there's any Steelers fans watching this, but if you've seen anything about Aaron Shampklin, because I certainly haven't, let me know down below in the comments. Again, cannot emphasize this enough. This is not a guy coming in to compete for serious touches. So let me know your thoughts on the signing down below in the comments. Let me know who you want to see the Miami Dolphins potentially bring into further competition between Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright for the running back 2 position. I imagine this is the last time I'll be talking to you guys today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Catch you next time. Go Dolphins.